Friends, you turn your head for one moment to focus on the turkey and the stuffing, and all of a sudden, the Syrian civil war restarts. The conflict, which erupted during the 2011 Arab Spring and which over a course of a decade killed over 500,000 people, has been static since early in 2020. By then, secular dictator Bashar al-Assad regained control over the majority of the country and its major cities, and had even begun the process of normalizing relations with his neighbors and reintroducing himself into the international community. The remnants of the Islamist opposition were isolated into the northwest Idlib province, protected by Turkey, their most significant benefactor. And of course, there's still close to 1,000 American soldiers occupying the northeast of Syria, monitoring oil fields and giving cover to the local Kurds who still dream of an independent state. Last week, as the United States was tucking into Thanksgiving dinner, the rebels suddenly broke out of Idlib and went on a rampage, restarting the active fighting. They even captured the city of Aleppo with relative ease. This major city had been their possession for several years at the start of the civil war, and it took immense bloodshed for the Assad regime to recapture it by December of 2016, what had originally been seen as a turning point in the Syrian war. The spearhead of this new assault is a group called Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, or HTS for short. It was founded in 2017 by Abu Muhammad al-Julani. Al-Julani is the previous leader of the Al-Nusra Front, Syria's now defunct al-Qaeda affiliate. And he had sworn an oath of loyalty to Ayman al-Zawahiri, the butcher of New York City and Osama bin Laden's successor, until, of course, he was assassinated by the U.S. in 2022. Groups among the Syrian opposition have gone through continual rebrands for over a decade, but the core fact remains: they are Islamic extremists, head choppers with close association to the most despicable enemies of the United States. The Syrian army has promised a counterattack, and their Russian allies have already launched airstrikes against the rebels. But with Vladimir Putin fighting in his make-or-break war in Ukraine, it's very unlikely that Assad will receive the same helping hand from Russia that he relied on from 2015 through 2017 to stay alive. Finally, the most important question: where does this leave the United States? Congress has never voted to go to war in Syria. The White House claims that Joe Biden is gifted the power to deploy 1,000 American soldiers to Syria inherently by Article 2 of the Constitution. It's not true. Can any of us act surprised that this administration displays only contempt for the Constitution and the law? Our involvement in Syria is illegal, plain and simple. This country is a ruined backwater with a government that possesses no threat to America, to the American people, or to our national interests. But there is an active threat to the safety of our troops, who ought to be withdrawn immediately. Many of those soldiers are members of the National Guard, and their withdrawal would be mandatory if their home states passed the Defend the Guard Act, requiring a declaration of war by Congress before they put their boots on the ground. My organization has overseen the introduction of this bill into over half of the state legislatures in the country. And with your financial assistance, we'll pass it in all 50 states. Have you chipped in your $10 to help the cause and keep your National Guard out of the Syrian civil war? Remember, it was Barack Obama's decision to fund and arm the Islamist opposition that exacerbated the Syrian civil war, which otherwise may have ended as early as 2013. His administration funneled over $1 billion into the war, most of which landed in the pockets of men like al-Julani and other al-Qaeda allies. And it was Donald Trump's decision in early 2017 to cut off the money spigot and stop funding terrorists, and that put America first. And Trump's instincts were correct in the fall of 2018 when he wanted to pull out of Syria completely. He should have stuck to his guns. There are reports that Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, HTS, was given the green light to attack by Turkey, our NATO ally. And it's unknown whether any of this operation was coordinated to happen simultaneously with the faltering ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon. Is Joe Biden continuing the policy of his predecessor and giving intelligence or diplomatic cover to these terrorists so that the subsequent turmoil makes things more difficult for Donald Trump as he re-enters office? That's just conjecture at this moment. But would it surprise any of us? What is a fact is that bringing our troops home is a necessary organization for reclaiming an America First foreign policy, and that our veteran-led team needs supporters like you to make a monthly commitment to help us out. Your $10 will go directly to passing the Defend the Guard legislation and giving us the resources to oppose further U.S. involvement in Syria. I hope we can count on you.